folks, welcome in. Seven Rivers Racing here on KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyker along with Al Losi, coming off the bye week for most of the drivers at the Crosse Speedway. We did have the Hornets back out. They ran a points race. Matter of fact, they're going to be out back-to-back weeks, so a lot of guys did a lot of wrecking this past weekend. At least they're going to have a chance to get some things fixed and back out at the raceway. We're going to jump right into highlights from Smash-o-rama. This was an outstanding night. We had a long rain delay, of course. It was odd before we start running some video here. If you remember last year, we had Smash-o-rama, and there was Freedom Fest going on in La Crosse. Right. And at the end of Smash-o-rama, we saw the lightning and the storms came. Almost at the identical time that the storms came, they hit Freedom Fest again, and I've never seen that happen. Yeah. Almost an entire year apart, same type of storm.
Almost exactly the same thing. You were at Smash-o-rama. I was at Freedom Fest for the Fallen Heroes. What an emotional thing. The rains did come. The music was awesome. But Smash-o-rama, that was really a big deal, and they had a lot of fun out there.
I'll tell you what, we want to thank all the steadfast fans that really hung on. When the big rains came, they jammed inside of whatever orifices we had that was open in all the ag buildings, and when they came back up and we did the burnout contest, there were quite a few that stayed. So we, on behalf of the La Crosse Speedway, thank all the fans that stayed. Let's jump right into the Hornet class. We had enough Hornets. We ran two different features again. Then we came close to about 40 different cars. It was interesting because if you notice the track, it was wet. And the very first feature that we ran, a lot of cars were very testy on those accelerators and didn't really know how fast they wanted to run. But the Kevin Harvick painted 27 of Josh England, first time out this year, very slowly pick up the first feature win.
And this is so much fun. The wet track adds a new element. The drivers, you know, they're so serious about driving, but something like this can actually make it a lot of fun. Rain or shine, they were going to be racing.
Kevin Turner in the 43 took second. Now, Harley Jankowski, that was called his other late model.
That's what it looks like.
Painted exactly like his number 95 La Crosse late model. He just missed second place right there, but a pretty good race was to be had. Josh England took first, Kevin Turner second, Jankowski third, Terry Oldham out of Winona ended up placing fourth, and Ron Burrows out of Viroqua rounded out the top five. Into the second feature we go. And there was a rocket ship out there by the name of Davey Pennell. Matter of fact, Davey was so fast, he almost lapped the entire field twice. I've never seen that happen to the track. But you know, when it comes down to tech inspections, Davey got the DQ.
Yeah, that happens. When you're passing guys out there that are always running up front and winning by large margins, like you see him blow past Mark Bornitz, you know there might be a little bit of something going on.
Well, he had an illegal spring in the back, and I kind of wondered during the heat race when he was using the three-wheel motion, he was lifting up that back driver's side tire coming out of the corners. That there was something weird with that car, but you know, he's been very fast the entire race season out there. He fell out of the top 10 in points. But Davey Pennell has really kind of put a good shakedown to the Hornet class. Now, Kyle Swenson ended up taking second. He ends up taking home the victory, followed by Mark Bornitz, Jacob Bemis, who's done a great job out there this year, Andy Moore, and Kim Strom. You, of course, remember Kim Strom got a feature win the very first night out. Again, another consecutive almost 40 cars.
Yeah, and not only that, because of Smash-o-rama, there were a lot of people coming from a long way away to come out here and enjoy that. That's why you were hearing a few names you normally don't hear about. And as you mentioned, Davey Pennell, we were talking before we went on the air here, he is so fast on a normal night that he probably didn't have to do what he did and still could have been up there and possibly won.
Well, Pennell is one of our regular competitors this year. Jacob Bemis is one of the regular competitors. Looking at the point standings, now that was a points race during Smash-o-rama. They will be going points again coming up this weekend. Mark Bornitz does lead Andy Moore by 10, Kim Strom by 11. 15 back is David Bemis, and Jeff Stumelin is 17 back, along with Kyle Swenson. He moves into the top 10 and finds himself tied for 5th, so that feature win really propelled him. Jake Chalmers, Jeff Thompson, Chris Swenson, J.R. Tortolot round out the top 9. Jill Osteich and John Aaron, the Madman, round out the top 10. And you're going to see that entire list come back out again this next weekend for regular racing. So on to Smash-o-rama we go. The neck and back still a little sore. This has been about a week since I was actually in a stunt at the La Crosse Speedway. What you're going to see here as we start rolling some video. First off, the motorcycles were back out, and these two guys put on fantastic demonstrations throughout the state. Joe Beaver and Ryan Sushonic, they come out of the Edgerton, Madison, Wisconsin area. Right down there is Joey Beaver. Ryan Sushonic only has one leg. He lost it in the 2007 accident where a drunk driver hit him, and he lost his leg. Said the only thing that saved him was his helmet. So he wears a helmet wherever he goes, whether he's doing this, whether he's on the street, and some of the things he can do with one leg is just incredible. Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at this video, and the show that they're putting on here looks like they really got the crowd going. I don't understand that. How do you balance? That is just, I saw them do that in the practice. Yeah. And I said, you can do that during the show? He says, well, we're thinking about it. Now, you also notice that clip right there, though. That was before the rains came. That was session 1. They came on session 2. They did some nice things when you get into 360s and things like that, but the track was so wet they just had a hard time getting connected. So from the motorcycles, we go to a pair of monster trucks, and the Heartbreaker, I think, had to put on one of the best shows. Look at that. Wow. Now, this was on the wet track. Now, these trucks usually don't handle too well on wet tracks. She came out full board, full speed, just nailing the pile. Right there, cleared it all for the ground, and then decided to throw out some 360. I mean, what a phenomenal show the Heartbreaker put on. Her name slips my mind, but she comes out of Albany, Minnesota. It's just so amazing how they sit there and do the spinning like that. To me, I would get dizzy, let alone be able to hold on to that thing with all that suspension. Well, Jim Burns here in Mechanical Mischief out of Rockford, Illinois, ended up throwing a 360 down so fast he was actually coming off the ground. It was incredible. I'm just standing beyond the wall right there, and he just came on. He says, I've always wanted to try to lift the truck off the ground. It's like, what do you call it when you're going down the highway doing 85? He was actually hydroplaning while he was sitting there doing 360s. It was incredible. What is so amazing, too, about when they're driving these things, I was fortunate enough to get up in one of these trucks. They don't really look out the front window or the side window. They're looking through a panel underneath by where the gas pedals and all that is, so they really can't see outside. They're going by the sense of what they see there, and so they really can't see the pit walls and things like that you see that are so close. Well, that's why they have spotters in the pits that have radios on there, too, telling them how close they're getting to one wall or the other. But it was just simply outstanding, and there's a lot of video being thrown up on YouTube right now of the Heartbreaker, and she won the fan vote and the freestyle vote. On to the rollover competition we go. You might remember a couple of years ago, Caleb Miller was just known as Caleb Miller. Well, Caleb Miller went out and got stuck in the back of his car. There's Chris Critter Sampson, roll number 1. You know, the trunk monkey ended up being pulled out of his trunk. That was his first roll, complete all the way around. And then his second roll was almost identical. Only got about 3 times that time right there, but was outstanding. This is the T-bone competition. That was Garrett Tickey. Not only drove it in through the windshield, but up over the wall. Here we got another view of this. And this was outstanding. And that cement wall is not styrofoam. That is very, very heavy cement. And for him to hit it and move it. All right, I'm in the passenger seat here. Harley Jankowski is driving, and here comes the pool. I tell you know, it looks like it was very soft. Yeah. That was hard. Yeah. Now, not only once does Ben Allen hit the trailer in a very sturdy Cadillac. What a way to test drive a car. We decided to have him do it again. Holy. How about 3 times the charm? This is great. Back tires are still moving right there. He said that he hit the ramp the wrong way on the 3rd pass, or else he would have cleared that too. But there's a lot of hard frames because that part of the camper, that's the kitchen bathroom area. Right. So again, Caleb Miller, Garrett Tickey, Harley Jankowski, myself in the pool jump, and Ben Allen doing 3 shots at the trailer. That was just simply outstanding. I love that you did the pool. I love that you did the pool. Well, and I didn't know my microphone was actually going to work coming down the front straightaway. I did drop a tiny bad word there, but I was frightened, and I was stuck inside of a Sunbird being 6'8". There you go. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the La Crosse Speedway. Our special guest coming up the program today has one of the only, a matter of fact, I think as long as I've been there, has the only car of his style that's been racing at the La Crosse Speedway. We'll be back with more coming up on Seven Rivers Racing.